On this episode of Lapeef, Let's Talk.
Men that want to build, men that want to grow, they're going to go through those changes. Men that want to be a pillar in their community, men that want a wife that will love them for who they are, not for what they can provide, are going to go through those changes.
You know what?
That's what we're trying to give to these youngins.
I'm not going to lie to you. Youngins don't listen to this YouTube page. It's older adults.
Nah, that's wrong.
No. The majority of people that listen to this is older adults.
Why do you say that?
Not the 18-year-olds and down. It's not.
Well, this is what I'd say to you on that. And then I know other cats will get. This is what I would say to that on that, man, is this. The Lord tells you, become weak to the weak and become strong to the strong. What your job is as a teacher, your job is to be able to break down what you're trying to give to them in any way, shape, or form so that they can receive what you're trying to give to them. So your ableness to be able to receive, or these children to receive you, it's a breakdown to how good of a teacher you are.
I don't know how to stop.
Okay. We're in an alien matriarchy, Kay.
I don't know how to stop, but you are right. After every show, my mom says the same thing.
I guess.
You're right.
What's going on, Bolo? Welcome to the show. How you doing?
What's going on, everybody? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me?
Brother? Yeah.
How's everybody? Kay, Courtney, Willa, Anton, King, what's the deal, yo?
Word is Bond done. No, I'm just kidding.
What's going on, Bolo fam?
What's going on?
Bolo, what up?
We cooking, B.
Yeah, we cooking, son. You know, there's certain things I think that, gets convoluted in the conversation that we have, right? When it comes to the roles that men play. Now, again, in the creation of the Most High, men and women are equal in the creation. When it comes to the purpose of men and women, we're not equal at all. We're not, right? So the Lord made eagles and he made mice. He loves them both. But when it comes to purpose, the eagle eats the mouse. It's not nothing that the eagle did or anything that the mouse did. The Lord just created them that way. So it's nothing that men did to be put in the position of authority. It's just the way the Lord made it. So when we pound our chests and say, "This I am man, hear me roar," that's wrong. We're not supposed to do that, right? There's a scripture, when we talk about Ephesians 5:25, when it says that wives submit to your husbands. But then he comes back and says, husbands, love your wives like you love yourselves, and also the way Christ loved the church. He wasn't boastful. Okay, he wasn't arrogant. All right, he loved the church. He sacrificed to the church. He led the church like you loved yourselves. So if you love yourself, you don't want no one to be arrogant. You don't want no one to be antagonistic over you, right? Here's the thing that I think in this manosphere thing that we talk about, that, I understand the pushback that the manosphere gives towards feminism, right? I understand it. And this is not all men in the manosphere, but this is 1 Peter 3:7. When I hear certain men in the manosphere say that women are not important, you guys better y'all better temperature check yourselves. You better temperature check yourself. Understand what's going on.
Talk
right?
about it.
This is 1 Peter 3:7 when it says, husbands, in the same way, be considerate as you live with your wives. Okay, so he's telling you, live with your wives in a considerate way. Be understanding with your wives, okay? And treat them with respect as the weaker partner. Now, here's the key to the scripture. And as heirs with you in the grace of life. They're joint heirs with us. They're joint heirs with us. So when you men are talking about, and I'm not talking about you guys on the panel, but when you hear this manosphere thing saying that we don't need women and women need to be, you guys better don't get it twisted. Now, here's the key to why the Lord tells you to treat women this way, so that your prayers will not be hindered. So if you treat your woman like she's nothing, and you treat her like she's just a piece of dirt, your prayers ain't going to be hindered. They're not going to be answered, because what you're doing is you're disrespecting the church. You're disrespecting the temple. The Lord put her with you as a partner, not in the aspect of we do things equally. No, there's nothing equal. There's no people equal. There's no person equal on this planet. You can't name two people equal. We can try, but they're not. Someone is always above another, or whatever the situation might be. And we don't look at it as being above another. We look at it as the position that women are supposed to play, opposed to the position that men are supposed to play. Now, again, I cook in my house. So I don't look at me being a weak man because I cook. See, we get caught up into what women's roles are opposed to what men's roles are. And it's not caught up into them cleaning or cooking. Is that something that they could do? Sure. But what if the man likes to do that? So what does that make him? What if the woman likes to work with her hands and she likes to fix cars? What does that make her? My position in my home is not regulated to how I run my home. It's regulated because of the man that I am in my alignment with the Most High. So my woman doesn't have to be afraid of me, right? She doesn't have to be afraid of me. Why? Because she's afraid of the Most High. See, the one thing that the Lord tells you is that when I'm in alignment with her and I'm with him and he is in alignment and she is in alignment with her, he is the one that keeps us in order, not me. I don't keep my woman in order. She knows that there's a certain decorum and certain respect that she is supposed to keep, same as I. And that's what keeps us in alignment together. That's how we move. We have to stop looking at the Bible as just as instructions, as just black and white words on a piece of paper. That's what the Old Testament guys and the Pharisees and Sadducees looked at. Christ came to bring you understanding. He came to bring you the connection to the book. It's not just about reading the instructions. It's about treating people the way you want to be treated. It's about honoring your woman. Your woman is very important to you. Your woman grounds you in emotion. The same thing that Anton said. He talks to his wife, and his wife gives him insight on how to deal with his daughter. We have to understand that that's very important, because a lot of the times we can be very emotionless. So it's very important that both of us have that symbiotic relationship. They're very important. The problem that we have today is you have the feminism, you have the manosphere, and they're pushing back. And it's the same thing. You have men being emotional the same way women are being emotional. And they're continuing to tell people to move in their dysfunction. And we have to stop that. Understand that women are joint heirs with us in this kingdom. Thank you for having me on. I love you all. God bless you. Good night.
That's what I'm talking about, Bolo.
But Bolo, you know, Bolo, you said a lot of great things, and you always say great things since I've been hearing you since last thing. But once you said symbiotic, the definition for symbiotic is equally sharing. It's the opposite of parasitic, where someone is benefiting from another person that's not equal. So once you use that word, and the reason why I don't subscribe to the Bible so much, because the Bible was canonized. That means they selected 66 books to put in there. Who selected it? We know who. The Vatican.
Who did? Well, listen, that's another conversation. But here's the thing.
Hold on.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Hold on. The people that selected it didn't look like us. It was also rewritten by some say Shakespeare, right? So we have to, before we start attaching ourselves to documents and literature, we have to make sure it comes from us. Right. So here's another thing I want you to realize too. When I say we are equal with our woman, if you said no one's equal, I don't mean that we all look the same. I mean we are equally valued. The engine,
I understand, and I agree with you.
The engine is just as important as the steering wheel. The wheel is just as the tires is just as important as the muffler. They're not the same thing, but without working together, the car is not going to move. Exactly. So when I say equal, I want to make that clear to everybody. Equal doesn't mean that we're the same, but we have equal value. And under the eyes of God, a woman is as equally as important as I'm equally important. So when we have this true symbiotic relationship, and then you have these hierarchies that we don't know who create these hierarchies. Who did you hear God tell somebody, said the man is over the woman and the woman's over the child? Did you hear that? Because I didn't hear that. You read it from a book that was written by somebody that didn't look like you.
Let me ask you a question. Well, let me say the statement, then I'll ask you a question. I get, the pushback that I'm going to give you is people say that the Bible is a white man's book, but they seem not to read it because it speaks only about black people. You know what I'm saying? It speaks about the color of Christ being burnt as bronze. It speaks about King Solomon saying that he's black but comely. So a lot of people speak about this book being white, but they really don't read it themselves to understand that it's not a white book. It's about a book of men of color. But let me give you a little pushback on that, right? The pushback that I'm giving you is we didn't disagree. We didn't disagree. I told you that women and men are equal in creation, but not in purpose. Right. That's exactly what you're saying.
Right.
Right. So when we say symbiotic, you have to understand that the love that we share towards one another is equal. The Lord loves us the same way he loves women. There is no difference, but we have different purposes.
Yes.
Right. Again, I refer back to the eagle and the mouse. The Lord loves them both, but it was nothing that the eagle did to be put at the top of the food chain. There's nothing that he did, but at the same time, he eats the mouse. That's his job. So we have a purpose. We have to understand that there's a purpose in the home. Now, we need to know that the one thing that Christ came to push was not only am I your king, I'm your brother first. I'm your father first. I'm your servant first. So when you're talking about being in the home, right? It doesn't mean that the scriptures tell you that a lion shouldn't roar in his house. So when I am having a conversation with my wife, we're here to figure it out, right? That's why the Lord tells you to live with your wife in an understanding way, to always have conversations, explain things between the two of you so both of you are moving in the same direction. Right. But however, there might be a time when as a man, you have to shut it down. As a man, you have to say, okay, this is not what we're doing no more. This is how we're going. Now, that shouldn't be a constant to the point where your woman can't talk to you or she can't converse or really sit down and build with you. If that's what it is, then you have a problem. But this is the point that I really want to focus in, and then I'll get up because I know there's other people that want to come on. When us as men are speaking, we have to understand that it's good to have the banter, but there's youngins that are listening. There are young men that are hearing. Now, I know we always talk about women this and women that. The onus is on the men to get this together. It's on us. This is why when Eve messed up, the Lord didn't come yet. He came when Adam messed up because Adam was the head. So we have to take that responsibility and say it starts with us and start giving these young men milk, because the conversation that you guys are having, there's a lot of meat in there. And a lot of these youngins get lost. So we have to break it down for them so that they can understand that crying, speaking, talking, going to therapy, there's nothing wrong with that. If you have a broken leg, you go to a doctor. So if you are suffering with trauma, you go get help. There's nothing wrong. You're not a sucker. You ain't a punk. We got to get rid of that stigma. But again, I don't disagree with you when it comes to the love that God has for us. But again, what I'm going to tell you is that book that you keep saying that it was 66 books. First of all, you can't read Hebrew or Greek. But if you're going to get caught up on literature, can you prove to me that your mother's your mother without that birth certificate?
Absolutely.
Prove it to me. How do you do that?
You could take a gene. You could take blood tests. You could
blood tests. Women don't give blood tests. They only do DNA. Only men can do blood tests.
You can do DNA.
DNA is only going to prove that she's related to you. It's not going to prove that she's your mother.
You could do videotaping the birth.
There is no test, King. There is no test that proves your mother is your mother. It proves that you're related. The only test that you can prove is your father through blood test. But you believe that paper says that that's your mother.
No, I don't. I don't believe that. I don't believe that paper. I get what you're trying to go.
But do you understand what I'm saying? What I'm saying is you still have a sign of faith.
Yeah.
Because again, there is no test on this earth that can prove that your mother is your mother. There is no test.
Yeah, but what is that? So what are you saying?
The point that I'm trying to make to you is when you talk about the Bible and you talk about the book and the words and all this thing, the pushback that I'm going to give you is everything on this earth is written. There's nothing on this earth that we have that wasn't written. Everything that you are and who you are, everything that you've learned was written.
Where did it come from?
Where did what come from? The scriptures? It came from inspired men by God.
Before it was written, where did it come from?
Oh, it was inspirational. It was conversation. Hold on. Let me finish. It was inspiration. It was written on I forget the name of it, but it was written on cloths and things of that nature.
No. See, now
what are you saying?
You're being technical. Anytime something's written on paper, whether it's papyrus or real paper, it's already written inscribed on the tablets of your heart and your thoughts. It comes from within, right? So if it comes from
how is that taught?
No, I said thoughts.
No, I'm saying, how is it taught?
Sometimes it's not taught. Sometimes you're born with it. Sometimes there's somebody. Listen, what we have to understand is this.
You know that there's people that rape that think that what they do is right? Do you know that there's men in NAMBLA that think that loving little boys is right? That's written in their heart, you know.
No.
That's not written in their heart.
How do you know that?
Because these dudes will tell you. Listen. I'm not trying to be an a-hole. What I'm saying to you is, we have to have. This is the point. When we sit there and we say that we're spiritual, we need to have something in writing, bro. Because at the end of the day, when you have these men that say, "I love little boys,"
No. Bolo, I have to disagree with you. Respectfully, disagree with you, because you need to have something in writing. You just went off and talking about faith. The faith has nothing to do with writing.
Faith, but here's the thing.
That's documentation.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing, though, King, that we're missing. It's taught to you. And someone had to teach you what you feel right now. Your faith right now, someone had to teach it to you, correct?
Hold on. One at a time, y'all.
The faith that you have right now, did someone teach it to you?
No, Bolo. This is what I'm trying to tell you.
Go ahead.
This is what I'm trying to tell you. This is why I don't respect people that adapt this Western Christianity. Because
I don't adapt Western Christianity. I'm not a Christian.
But Bolo, I never said you did. You made that clear last time we spoke.
So then let's talk with me and you. Let's talk with you and I.
I'm trying to talk to you. You never identify your religion last time. You made that clear last time.
I can tell you what I am.
No, I don't need to know.
Okay, go ahead.
Because that's not my issue. My issue with you is that at the end of the day, you can't just throw something out there from a literature or a documentation when it's not something I subscribe to. And I'm telling you why I don't subscribe to it. I could have been raised Christians, I could have been raised Muslim, but I don't subscribe to it because at the end of the day, the way it got to me, the way I was taught it was taught to people that were oppressed. I don't want to accept that. And that's what it is. And at the end of the day, because what happens is we as people tend to accept what we want to accept. You have men saying, I can't respect what you say because you haven't been married. But Jesus wasn't married either, but you listen to him and refer to him every time.
Jesus was married.
No,
what are you talking about?
No, not the Bible doesn't say that though.
Why do you say that?
Tell me where it says that at.
When you read 1 Corinthians chapter 11, Christ was married. I'll explain it to you. See, now you have to understand what he's talking about when he speaks about marriage. When he talks about the understanding, when he says that the glory of Christ is man, but the glory of woman, the glory of the man is woman. The man was married to Christ. The man was the church. He was married to them. Hold on, brother. Hold on. He was married to them figuratively. How? He led, he provided, he teached, he nourished, and sacrificed. That's why he tells men, love your wives like I love the church. Because when you read the scriptures, he says the church of God is with men. It's with men. Now that's not a gay thing. It's speaking figuratively.
I know.
He gave us that example. I'm not saying you were. I'm not saying you were. What I'm saying is
Bolo. What I'm saying to you, people like Anton will say, listen, don't listen to this man because he's not married. And I could, based on what you just said, I could say to him, I'm married to my community.
This is what I would say. This is what I would say to you. This is what I would say, brother. There's a lot of stuff that, listen, what I would say to you is this, man. I'm never gonna account someone out from having knowledge and being able to spit wisdom and understanding. Whether you're married, whether you're tall, whether you're short, whether you're a woman, whether you're a man, or whether you're a child, because we can learn from anybody.
This is what I'm trying to say, but that's what I'm saying to you. This is the whole point. I use that as an example because with that literature that you refer to, where something is written down that we have to learn, take it, build that connection with, like Christ came down to build connection with, people interpret it and misuse it the way they wanted to for their own benefit.
I agree with you.
Because I just use it as an example to disregard everything that man Anton said about him being married, and I don't have leadership when I can say I'm married to my community.
But hold on.
Right.
Now you have to, but now you have to look at, the context and when you're saying marriage, because we could talk about virgins, right? Virgin can be a woman at a marriageable age. It can mean an island, or it can be a woman that had sex but still at marriageable age. So now we have to look at the context of what you're talking about when you say marriage.
But who's going to go through that? Who's going to go through all that?
Men that want to understand truth, men that want to build, men that want to grow. They're going to go through those changes. Men that want to be a pillar in their community, men that want a wife that will love them for who they are, not for what they can provide, are going to go through those changes. You know what? That's what we're trying to give to these youngins.
I'm not going to lie to you. Youngins don't listen to this YouTube page. It's older adults.
Nah, that's wrong.
No. The majority of people that listen to this is older adults.
Why do you say that?
Not the 18-year-olds and them. It's not.
Well, this is what I'd say to you on that. And then I know other cats will get. This is what I would say to that on that, man, is this. The Lord tells you, become weak to the weak and become strong to the strong. What your job is as a teacher, your job is to be able to break down what you're trying to give to them in any way, shape, or form so that they can receive what you're trying to give to them. So your ableness to be able to receive, or these children to receive you, it's a breakdown to how good of a teacher you are.